What if I told you that the very
way you breathe right now is keeping you locked in the same reality loop, no matter how much effort you put into personal growth? The HeartMath Institute has demonstrated something profound. Most of your conscious efforts to transform your life fail not because you lack willpower, clarity, or intention, but because the rhythm of your breath, your primary conduit for energy, is running on autopilot. Every day, each human being takes roughly 23,000 breaths, yet 99.9% of these occur without awareness. You're breathing while scrolling through your phone, stuck in traffic, replaying arguments in your mind at 3 a.m., rushing from task to task, and yet you never pause to question why your external reality continues to mirror internal chaos. You try to rearrange circumstances, fix what's outside, but fail to recognize that your breath is transmitting an energetic signature to everyone and everything within an 8-foot radius. What's even more astonishing is that your breath is encoding information into the quantum field itself. Every inhale and exhale acts as a pen writing on the canvas of reality. When you breathe from stress, you're broadcasting stress into the field. When you breathe from peace, you're imprinting peace. This isn't metaphor, it's subtle physics. Dr. Fritz Albert Popp's research on biophotons shows that every cell emits light, coherent when harmonious, chaotic when disturbed. Your breath directly shapes this cellular light, painting your existence in real time. Ancient ascended beings understood this principle intuitively. They called it breathing the light body into manifestation. They knew conscious breath could restructure the energy template of your physical form, heal diseases, and extend life far beyond perceived limits. They weren't indulging in wishful thinking. They were applying precise knowledge of consciousness, interfacing with matter. This is why affirmations, vision boards, and mental effort often fail. They attempt to shape reality from the mind alone, ignoring the quantum mechanism that underpins creation. The truth is this: every unconscious breath is a wasted opportunity to actively shape reality. You are squandering roughly 23,000 chances daily. Your first act of entering this world wasn't thinking, speaking, or crying, it was breathing. Your consciousness arrived in this dimension through air, through rhythm, through life itself. Yet somewhere along the way, you shifted from soul-centered, conscious breathing into survival mode automation. Become aware of your breathing now. Feel where it originates. For most, it's shallow, rapid, upper chest breathing, a rhythm that sustains life but starves the spirit. Ancient wisdom, from the Sanskrit prana to the Hebrew ruach, reminds us that breath is infinitely more than biological necessity. It's the bridge between the seen and unseen, the matter and the quantum, human and divine. Conscious breathing wasn't just a practice, it was a portal. Now that you've begun noticing your breath, something extraordinary starts to unfold. You're no longer simply the person breathing, you're the witness of your breathing. This is the emergence of the observer, the eternal part of you that exists beyond thought, beyond emotion, beyond the constant chatter of the mind. Imagine sitting beside a flowing river. Your thoughts are the water rushing and swirling past. Some currents are calm, some violent, yet you, the observer, remain seated on the riverbank, unaffected by the turbulence. You are not the river. You are the consciousness witnessing it. Ancient traditions used similar metaphors: the sky and clouds, Sakshi in Hinduism, Buddha nature in Buddhism, Christ consciousness in Christianity, all pointing to one truth: you are not your fleeting experiences. You are the awareness experiencing them. Observing your breath and your thoughts simultaneously marks a profound shift. If you can witness your mental commentary, then you are not your thoughts. This subtle realization is the key to moving from reactive existence to conscious creation. Modern neuroscience supports this. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research shows that observing your thoughts without judgment begins to rewire decades-old neural patterns in just minutes. Each conscious observation strengthens the pathways of the observer, not the reactor. But the observer doesn't merely witness, it creates. Every thought, every emotion, every moment of alignment or chaos broadcasts signals into the quantum field. Your habitual unconscious breathing encodes old patterns, anxiety and fear into the field, while conscious, coherent breath encodes clarity, peace, and intention. This is why most traditional tools for self-improvement, affirmations, vision boards, goal setting often fail. They attempt to bypass the body and the breath, focusing on thought alone. But reality responds not to thinking, but to energetic coherence. The observer state transforms that coherence from a concept into a living force. Each inhale becomes a conscious gathering of energy. Each exhale, a deliberate transmission of your chosen state. In these subtle moments, you send electromagnetic signals that ripple across your own field, influence those around you, and even interact with the fabric of space-time itself. Every conscious breath is a vote for the reality you wish to experience. Every unconscious breath reinforces patterns you didn't choose. The ancient yogis and Egyptian initiates understood this instinctively. They didn't meditate or pray to escape reality. They trained to enter this observer state and breathe their intentions into existence. They mapped the body as a living temple, each chamber representing consciousness centers. Breath wasn't just air, it was energy moving through these chambers, dissolving blocks, releasing trauma, and activating innate potential. You can begin this process now. Now that you've stepped into the observer, it's time to explore a hidden dimension of your breath, the quantum gap. This is the sacred pause between inhalation and exhalation, a fleeting moment so subtle that most people never notice it. Yet within this tiny fraction of a second lies extraordinary creative power. Imagine the space between musical notes. Without silence, there is no rhythm, no melody, only noise. The quantum gap functions the same way. Each conscious pause is a doorway into the infinite field of potential, where intention can crystallize into reality before the mind even interferes. Most of us rush through life, filling every moment with thought, activity, and distraction, never touching this space. But the ancients, Egyptian initiates, Tibetan yogis, Vedic mystics knew its significance. They trained their consciousness to dwell in these gaps, entering a state where past and future lose grip, and only the creative present exists. They called it resting in the silence of Ra, or the needle's eye, a threshold so narrow yet so potent that infinite possibilities converge there. When you practice observing your breath and resting in this pause, something remarkable happens. The mind quiets, the nervous system stabilizes, and your electromagnetic field begins to resonate in coherent alignment. You are no longer projecting chaotic, fragmented signals into the quantum field. Instead, you are transmitting clarity, harmony, and deliberate intention. This is why conscious breathing affects not just your personal state, but the very environment around you. HeartMath Institute. Research shows that your heart generates a powerful electromagnetic field extending up to 8 feet beyond your body. The quality of your breath directly influences this field. When chaotic or shallow, it sends turbulence outward. When deep, coherent, and intentional, it radiates calm, stability, and receptivity. In the quantum gap, this field becomes a magnet for possibility. Opportunities, resources, and synchronistic events begin to flow toward you, not because you force them, but because the field naturally organizes itself around your coherent presence. This stillness is not passivity. It is dynamic, alive, and infinitely powerful. Picture a mountain. It does not struggle against storms or rush toward the sunrise. Once you've begun exploring the observer and the quantum gap, it's time to take the next step, fully inhabiting your inner temple. Your body is not merely flesh and bone. It is a living sanctuary, a sacred architecture storing every experience, memory, and emotion you've ever had. Yet most people have never learned to inhabit it consciously. Ancient civilizations understood this profoundly. Egyptians mapped the body as a multidimensional temple, with chambers corresponding to different centers of consciousness. Breath was the key that unlocked each room, revealing not only the divine within but also hidden stories, traumas, and ancestral imprints. When you breathe with awareness, you begin constructing this inner temple. Each conscious inhale becomes a visit to a chamber of your being. Each exhale a clearing, purification, and alignment. Your chest might carry grief, your shoulders burdens you never fully released, your throat words left unspoken. Conscious breath opens these spaces gently, dissolving blockages, liberating trapped energy, and restoring the natural flow of life force. This process is not just personal, it radiates outward. Your heart and lungs generate an electromagnetic field that extends up to 8 feet around you. When chaotic or shallow, this field projects stress and tension, subtly influencing everyone nearby. But when coherent, deep, and intentional, your field becomes a source of calm, inspiration, and magnetic alignment. Think of it as a still lake. Shallow, agitated breaths create ripples, disturbing the environment. Deep, coherent breathing transforms you into the mountain, reflected perfectly on the surface. Calm, grounded, radiating stability. Children in particular are highly sensitive to these fields. They mirror your coherence or discord instinctively. Apparent breathing consciously can create calm in a room without speaking a word. This is the real power of inhabiting your inner temple. It's not about controlling external events. It's about mastering your internal architecture so that the world naturally responds to your coherence. And there is a deeper layer: ancestral and cellular healing. Trauma creates breathing patterns that can be passed down through generations. By consciously breathing into your inner temple, you not only realign your nervous system but also send coherence backward to ancestors and forward to future generations. You become a living bridge across time, dissolving patterns that no longer serve, reclaiming power encoded in your very DNA. This is why conscious breath is called the master key. It unlocks your inner chambers, clears blockages, and allows life force to circulate unhindered. It connects you to the observer, the quantum gap, and the infinite field of possibility. In this state, your actions become effortless because they emerge from alignment rather than struggle. Life begins to organize around you instead of against you. Now that your inner temple is coming alive, it's time to recognize the full scope of your influence. Every conscious breath you take doesn't just affect your internal state, it extends outward, shaping the energy of everyone and everything around you. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that the heart generates a coherent electromagnetic field that extends up to 8 feet from the body. This field is profoundly affected by your breath. Shallow, rapid, anxious breathing sends turbulence outward, subtly influencing the people near you, your environment, and even your decisions. But deep, coherent, intentional breathing creates resonance. Your field becomes a calm, magnetic presence that others sense immediately. You enter a room and the energy shifts, not because you've said anything, but because your coherence radiates outward like a quiet ripple that organizes the space around you. Think of it as the difference between a storm-tossed ocean and a mountain-framed lake. One disrupts, the other reflects clarity. Children, partners, colleagues, they all unconsciously respond to these signals. This isn't metaphor, it's measurable science. But there's more. Your conscious breath doesn't just interact with people, it interacts with reality itself. At the quantum level, consciousness and space-time are intimately linked. When you breathe coherently, your electromagnetic field begins generating what physicists call torsion fields, subtle spirals of energy that can influence probability distributions. In other words, your breath helps guide which possibilities manifest and which fade. Synchronistic events, creative breakthroughs, and seemingly impossible solutions begin appearing naturally. This is why meditators report heightened intuition, serendipitous encounters, and effortless problem-solving. Every inhale carries focus and alignment. Every exhale releases chaos and limitation. This field effect grows exponentially as your coherence stabilizes. Imagine thousands of people around the world practicing conscious breathing together. The collective field organizes chaos into order, aligns consciousness with possibility, and influences not just human perception but the fabric of reality itself. Your personal breath practice is a microcosm of this phenomenon. It's not about controlling outcomes or forcing desires into existence. It's about aligning yourself so clearly that reality organizes around your coherence. The old loops of stress, anxiety, and unconscious reaction dissolve naturally. Life begins to breathe you back, responding to your presence instead of resisting it. And here's a subtle, often overlooked truth. Each conscious breath is also ancestral healing. Now that you understand how your breath shapes both your inner temple and the field around you, it's time to journey even deeper into the realm of stillness and the zero-point field. This is where conscious creation transcends intention and becomes effortless. Stillness is not absence or stagnation. It is the dynamic presence of a mountain amidst a storm. Winds rage, rivers surge, yet the mountain remains grounded, immovable and radiantly coherent. When you breathe into this stillness, you align with the highest organizing principle of reality itself. Modern physics calls this the zero-point field, a quantum space where all potential futures exist simultaneously. It's the field of infinite possibilities, unbound by time, space, or limitation. Your breath is the bridge to this domain. Every conscious inhale connects you to the creative potential inherent in the universe, and every intentional exhale releases the turbulence that blocks that flow. In the pause, the quantum gap, you enter the womb of creation. Here your mind quiets, your nervous system stabilizes, and your electromagnetic field resonates in perfect coherence. You are no longer broadcasting fragmentation or chaos. You are broadcasting alignment, clarity, and infinite potential. This is why ancient mystics emphasized breath and stillness over endless striving. The observer, the quantum gap, and conscious breath converge to create a state where reality naturally reorganizes itself around your presence. Your actions no longer come from struggle. They arise spontaneously from alignment. Opportunities, solutions, and synchronistic encounters flow naturally because you are no longer pushing reality, you are collaborating with it. And there is a deeper, subtler layer. Your body itself becomes a conductor for universal intelligence. Cells emit coherent light when aligned, chaotic light when blocked. Conscious breathing into stillness harmonizes these emissions, allowing your entire system to resonate as a unified field of creation. You are not only reshaping your reality, you are stabilizing the field itself. By now you've explored the observer, the quantum gap, your inner temple, the electromagnetic field, and the 0 point of possibility. The next step is integration, bringing these practices into the rhythm of your everyday life so that conscious creation becomes natural, effortless, and continuous. Integration is not about perfection or rigid routines. It is about cultivating presence in every breath, in every action, and in every interaction. Begin with the simplest act, your morning inhale. Before reaching for your phone or diving into obligations, take 3 full conscious breaths. Observe the air filling your lungs, the subtle pause between inhale and exhale, the gentle release. Feel yourself arriving in your body, settling into your inner temple, tuning your electromagnetic field to coherence. These few seconds are a declaration. I am present. I am aligned. I am the observer of my reality. Throughout the day, use micro practices to maintain this coherence. In moments of tension, traffic, difficult conversations, unexpected challenges, return to your breath. Even one conscious inhale and exhale can re-anchor you, recalibrating your field and your nervous system. Notice how your internal shift subtly changes the external environment. People respond differently. Situations feel less chaotic, and clarity naturally emerges. Integration also requires attuning to the quantum gap in daily life. These are the brief pauses between thoughts, between actions, between moments of decision. In these gaps, infinite possibilities exist. Use them intentionally. A pause before speaking, a pause before reacting, a pause before. Choosing creates a space for conscious alignment rather than reactive patterns. This practice rewires the mind and nervous system, replacing old loops with coherent patterns of thought, emotion, and action. Over time, the field effect becomes profound. Your presence radiates calm, inspiration, and coherence. You influence environments, relationships, and even collective consciousness without effort. You become a living signal, a demonstration of alignment that others unconsciously mirror. Integration also honors your body as a sacred temple. Consciously breathing into areas of tension releases trapped emotions, ancestral patterns, and unprocessed experiences. This process restores energy flow, deepens presence, and strengthens the connection between your inner state and outer reality. As this becomes habitual, life stops pushing against you. Opportunities, synchronicities, and intuitive guidance flow naturally. Actions arise effortlessly from alignment rather than struggle. Finally, integration is about remembering your role as a conscious creator in the vast field of existence. At this stage, you're ready to awaken fully as the observer and bring conscious presence into every layer of your life. The observer isn't just a concept, it is your living, breathing reality. It is the aspect of you that exists beyond mental chatter, beyond emotion, beyond circumstance. Every time you notice your thoughts without identifying with them, every time you return attention to your breath, you step into this infinite awareness. This is the power that ancient mystics spoke of, from the sages of India calling it Sakshi, to Buddhists naming it Buddha nature, to the mystical Christians referring to Christ consciousness within. These traditions point to one undeniable truth. The observer is not separate from life. It is the source of life's orchestration. Conscious embodiment begins here. Each breath becomes a signal to your nervous system, your electromagnetic field, and the quantum field surrounding you. It is not about forcing outcomes or manipulating the external world. It is about aligning the inner and outer, becoming a coherent presence through which reality naturally flows. In practice, this looks like responding instead of reacting, choosing alignment over compulsion, and stepping into life with clarity rather than distraction. Challenges no longer derail you. They become invitations to expand your presence. Opportunities no longer feel random. They become reflections of the coherence you radiate. In this awakened state, your body becomes your guide and your temple. Tension in the shoulders, constriction in the chest, knots in the stomach, these are signals from the inner temple asking for attention. Conscious breathing into these areas doesn't just release discomfort, it liberates stored patterns, ancestral imprints, and emotional residues that have accumulated over time. You are literally rewriting your energetic blueprint. With every intentional inhale and exhale, this embodiment extends beyond self-transformation. Your presence begins influencing others subtly but profoundly. Rooms shift, people respond, and the environment resonates with your coherence. Your conscious breath acts as a stabilizing frequency in the chaos of daily life, making connection, collaboration, and creativity flow effortlessly. The observer and the breath together activate the quantum gap, the moment between inhale and exhale, between thoughts, between states. In this space, the field of infinite possibility opens. Intentions crystallize not through effort, but through alignment. What emerges often surpasses what the mind could imagine because the soul guides the process, not the ego. Life begins to mirror your internal coherence. Synchronicities multiply, solutions appear without struggle, and your energy becomes magnetic. This is not spiritual idealism. This is quantum mechanics in action. Conscious awareness literally shapes the unfolding of reality. The culmination of awakening as the observer is the realization that you have always been the creator. Now that the observer has awakened and your inner temple is established, it's time to step into the most transformative phase, using conscious breath to manifest your highest potential. This is where presence, alignment, and stillness converge with intention to shape reality in tangible ways. The secret is not in forcing outcomes, but in becoming the coherent field through which your desired reality naturally flows. Every conscious inhale and exhale sends a signal into your electromagnetic field, your nervous system, and the quantum field beyond. These signals are far more influential than any external effort because they operate at the level of energy and vibration, the true language of creation. Think of your breath as a pen and the field as an infinite canvas. Each inhale draws in clarity, coherence, and possibility. Each exhale releases limiting patterns, fear, and distraction. Over time, this consistent practice rewrites the unconscious loops that have kept you trapped in repetition, allowing new possibilities to emerge effortlessly. Conscious manifestation begins in small, intentional steps, noticing your thoughts, observing your emotions, pausing between reactions, and aligning your actions with your inner state of coherence. The quantum gap, the space between inhale and exhale, between thought and thought, becomes the sacred doorway where intention crystallizes into reality. In these micro moments, you can set clear, focused intentions, not from desire or lack, but from alignment and knowing. Here, manifestation is effortless because it arises from resonance, not compulsion. Life begins to respond in ways that feel almost magical. Opportunities appear at the exact moment they are needed. People, resources, and circumstances flow toward you in harmony with your inner state. You become the magnet for the experiences and outcomes, aligned with your highest self. This practice also extends to ancestral and collective healing. Conscious breathing in alignment with your observer state doesn't just transform your personal reality, it sends coherence rippling through your family line and collective consciousness. The energetic field you cultivate radiates outward, influencing environments, relationships, and even the larger systems of life. Each breath becomes an act of creation, a declaration of your sovereignty and coherence. Importantly, manifestation is not about controlling life. It is about co-creating with it. You've traveled through the observer, the quantum gap, the inner temple, the electromagnetic field, and the 0 point of possibility. Now it's time to embody all of this fully, consistently, and without separation between practice and life. Embodiment is the final step, the living proof that conscious breathing and presence are not techniques, but your natural state. This is where theory becomes reality, where understanding becomes living experience, and where alignment becomes action without effort. Begin by recognizing that every breath, every pause, Every moment of stillness is a doorway into your power as a conscious creator. There is no separation between who you are and the life you live. Every inhale draws coherence into your field. Every exhale releases limitation. And every conscious pause crystallizes intention into form. In this state, your actions are no longer reactive or forced. They arise naturally from alignment. Decisions flow with clarity. Challenges become opportunities for presence. Relationships shift, reflecting the coherence you maintain within. Your life begins to feel less like a struggle and more like a dance, where every circumstance responds to the energy you broadcast, rather than your desperate attempts to control it. The observer is fully awake. The inner temple is fully inhabited. The quantum gap is fully accessed. And now the field itself responds to your coherent frequency, reorganizing reality around you effortlessly. This embodiment is not limited to personal transformation. It reverberates outward, influencing your environment, your relationships, and the collective consciousness. Each breath becomes a subtle act of service, contributing to the evolution of humanity and the awakening of consciousness on the planet. Integration into daily life is key. Morning rituals, micro-practices throughout the day, conscious pauses before decisions, and intentional breath work in moments of stress all reinforce your coherence. Over time, this becomes second nature. Life no longer pushes against you. Opportunities, synchronicities, and aligned encounters flow naturally. You become a living demonstration that reality is not fixed. It responds to the consciousness you embody. This is the ultimate freedom, to move through the world as the observer, the creator, the temple, and the field simultaneously. Stillness is your power. Presence is your tool. Conscious breath is your key. And your life becomes the evidence that consciousness, not circumstance, is the true creative force. The final invitation is simple yet profound. Choose now to embody this state in every breath. That has always been your birthright. At this stage, your practice of conscious breathing transcends the personal and begins to ripple outward, influencing not only your own reality, but the collective field around you. Every coherent breath you take sends subtle yet powerful electromagnetic signals through space, affecting the people, environments, and situations within your reach. You are no longer just transforming yourself. You are shaping the energetic landscape of your surroundings. Imagine entering a room where tensions run high. The unconscious may react with stress, impatience, or frustration, but your presence, anchored by breath and observer awareness, can stabilize and uplift that entire environment. It's not magic. It's measurable science. Studies from the HeartMath Institute show that your heart-brain coherence, influenced directly by breath, radiates fields that extend at least 8 feet from your body, subtly affecting others. This effect is amplified when multiple conscious individuals engage together. Large-scale meditation experiments, like those tracked by the Global Consciousness Project, show that coherent collective intention can influence probability patterns, reduce chaos, and organize what seems random. Your conscious breath, then, is not just personal empowerment. It's a contribution to a larger living system of interconnected consciousness. The ripple begins in small, simple ways. A single moment of calm before a difficult conversation shifts the tone, creating space for clarity and understanding. A mindful inhale before responding to a colleague or family member changes the dynamic, transforming potential conflict into cooperation. Every breath taken with full presence increases the coherence, not only in your electromagnetic field but in the broader environment. The quantum field responds instantly, reorganizing circumstances in alignment with this stability. Over time, these ripples accumulate, and the world begins to mirror the internal coherence you cultivate. You start to notice more synchronicities, effortless solutions, and aligned encounters. But the most profound aspect is not external. It is the internal evolution that accompanies it. As you breathe consciously, your nervous system, heart, and brain recalibrate to coherent states. Stress patterns dissolve. Emotional turbulence subsides. Neural pathways supporting unconscious reactivity are replaced with networks, reinforcing presence, clarity, and calm. You are becoming a stabilizing anchor in a world of constant flux. Ancient teachings understood this principle intuitively. From the yogis of India to the mystery schools of Egypt, civilizations recognized that an individual who maintained internal coherence could subtly influence the collective, creating harmony and balance far beyond their immediate perception. You are that individual. Now that you understand the profound impact of conscious breathing, observer awareness, and the quantum gap, the next step is integration, bringing this understanding into every moment of your daily life. True mastery does not occur in isolated meditation sessions or fleeting experiences. It emerges when your breath, presence, and alignment flow seamlessly through ordinary activities. Start by observing your breathing patterns in real time, while walking, talking, eating, working, or even scrolling on your device. Notice shallow, rapid upper chest breathing, the unconscious pattern that maintains survival but blocks your creative potential. Gently shift attention to a deeper, rhythmic inhalation and exhalation, letting your abdomen and chest move in harmony. This is not forced. It is awareness flowing naturally into the body. The observer is present, quietly witnessing the mind, the body, and the world. Between breaths, rest in the quantum gap, that fleeting yet potent moment where intention crystallizes. These micro-practices, repeated across your day, compound into profound shifts in nervous system coherence, emotional regulation, and energetic stability. Over time, your inner field begins to stabilize, and the ripple effect expands outward, subtly influencing every interaction, every environment, and even the collective field. Intentional breath before a conversation or decision allows clarity to arise naturally, removing reactivity and replacing it with responsive wisdom. Each conscious pause becomes a recalibration, aligning you with your highest potential rather than old patterns. Integration also means using your inner temple intentionally. Your body, mind, and energy centers are sacred spaces storing memories, emotions, and ancestral patterns. By breathing with attention into these spaces, you not only release tension, but also reclaim the intelligence and wisdom stored there. The nervous system, DNA, and biofield respond to this coherent practice, creating lasting transformation from the cellular to the systemic level. Embodying sustained coherence is a lifestyle, not a task. Rituals such as morning breathwork, periodic pauses, and evening reflections anchor the frequency of presence, while spontaneous moments of attention during daily life strengthen it. You begin to notice reality mirroring your internal state. Opportunities emerge effortlessly, synchronicities multiply, relationships deepen, and challenges dissolve into lessons. Your energy becomes a field of magnetism, naturally attracting alignment without struggle. Ultimately, integration is the art of living fully awake. You are no longer a passive participant or reactive force. You are a conscious architect of reality, anchored in presence and harmony. Now that conscious breathing, observer awareness, and integration into daily life are familiar, the next stage is advanced embodiment, stepping fully into the role of a conscious creator who influences not only personal reality but the collective field itself. At this level, your breath and presence are no longer private practices. They become active instruments in shaping the world around you. Begin by deepening awareness of your inner temple. Visualize your body as a multi-chambered sanctuary, each center holding specific intelligence, memory, and potential. With each breath, move attention through these chambers: the heart, the solar plexus, the throat, and the crown, releasing blockages, restoring harmony, and activating latent capacities. Every inhale draws in coherence, every exhale radiates it outward. Observe how subtle shifts in your internal alignment alter your electromagnetic field, influencing others even without conscious interaction. HeartMath research shows that coherent heart-brain states create measurable changes in nearby individuals' physiological rhythms. Imagine the ripple effect. A single coherent breath can stabilize a room, a meeting, or even a public space. When practiced collectively, the impact multiplies exponentially, aligning communities and social systems with higher coherence. Advanced embodiment also requires mastery of the quantum gap, the space between breaths, between thoughts, and between moments. In these gaps, infinite possibilities exist simultaneously, waiting for your awareness to collapse them into experience. By dwelling in this stillness, you shift from being a participant of events to the orchestrator of circumstances. The field itself begins to respond to your frequency, opening doors to opportunities, connections, and insights that were previously inaccessible. Beyond personal and local influence, conscious breath at this level begins to engage with the planetary field. The Global Consciousness Project, studies on large-scale meditation, and emerging quantum research all point to the same principle. Coherent intention and energy from conscious humans can subtly influence probability distributions, and even physical systems. Your practice becomes a form of service, not through effort or control, but through alignment, presence, and embodiment. Every breath you take from this place is a contribution to collective coherence, sending waves of harmony, clarity, and possibility into the global field. Advanced embodiment is also about integrating stillness into action. Like a master archer, your movements, decisions, and communications arise naturally from alignment. Effort is replaced by intelligent responsiveness. Your life becomes an ongoing demonstration of the principle that consciousness, not circumstance, is the primary creative force. And finally, this stage reveals the ultimate secret. Your breath, your awareness, and your coherence are inseparable from the universal consciousness itself. Now that you've stepped into advanced embodiment, the essential question becomes, how do you sustain this state consistently, day after day, without losing alignment amidst the chaos of modern life? The answer lies in creating a personal rhythm that honors both stillness and action, observation and participation, breath and life itself. Begin by anchoring yourself each morning with conscious breathing. Take deliberate, full inhales and slow, complete exhales, allowing the body, mind, and field to synchronize. Move through your inner temple systematically, visiting each energy center with awareness, noticing residual tension or inherited patterns, and letting them dissolve through the rhythm of breath. Observe the quantum gaps between breaths, thoughts, and actions, those sacred spaces where infinite potential resides. Make it a daily habit to dwell in these gaps for even a few moments. In doing so, you retrain your nervous system to respond from coherence rather than reactivity, creating neural patterns that support long-term stability. Beyond the morning practice, carry micro moments of conscious presence throughout the day. Before speaking, decide, or act, pause and take a coherent breath. Observe your emotional and energetic state. Are you reacting unconsciously or responding consciously? Each pause reinforces alignment and extends the ripple effect of your coherence into every interaction, conversation, and environment. Over time, this consistency transforms your nervous system, energy field, and perception of reality. Stress patterns dissolve, emotional turbulence stabilizes, and synchronicities begin to occur naturally. The world starts mirroring the inner harmony you cultivate. But sustaining advanced consciousness is more than personal evolution. It is a continuous participation in the collective field. By embodying coherence, you contribute to a larger resonance, influencing communities, ecosystems, and even societal systems in subtle yet profound ways. Group meditations, conscious gatherings, or simply holding presence around others amplifies the effect, creating waves of possibility that expand beyond your immediate perception. Long-term mastery also involves self-reflection and gentle recalibration. Observe moments of drift, tension, or unconscious reaction without judgment. Each observation is a reset, a return to alignment. The beauty is that the field, the quantum space, and your inner intelligence respond instantly to these corrections. Finally, integrate the principle that stillness and presence are not separate from action. They are the foundation from which all meaningful creation emerges. Life is no longer a struggle to control circumstances. It becomes a dance with the intelligence of the universe. At this stage, everything you've learned about conscious breathing, observer awareness, the quantum gap, and advanced embodiment converges into a singular, transformative practice, becoming a living field of creation. This is the point where personal mastery, collective influence, and spiritual awakening are no longer separate pursuits. They are inseparable aspects of your daily experience. Begin by recognizing that every inhale and exhale is an energetic signature, a pulse of coherence that radiates outward into the field. Each breath consciously observed is not just sustaining life, it is actively shaping reality at every level: personal, relational, environmental, and collective. Your inner temple, meticulously constructed through attention, intention, and presence, becomes a stable base from which the universe can flow through you effortlessly. Here, stillness is no longer passive. It is the dynamic core of your influence. From this centered place, every thought, action, and decision emerges naturally from alignment rather than effort or struggle. You have become the observer, the participant, and the co-creator simultaneously. Inhabit this awareness fully. Notice how synchronicities begin to accelerate. The right people, opportunities, and solutions appear without forcing or chasing, Circumstances rearrange themselves around your coherent presence, reflecting the harmony and clarity you maintain internally. But this integration extends beyond personal gains. Your coherent field contributes to the collective resonance, subtly influencing systems, communities, and even the global consciousness. Ancient wisdom understood this principle. One aligned individual can radiate influence far beyond their immediate perception. Scientific research now confirms it. Electromagnetic contortion fields, generated by coherent breath and heart-brain alignment, can influence not only nearby individuals, but broader probability patterns, showing that the very structure of reality responds to sustained coherence. Advanced integration also means living from the soul's perspective, rather than the ego's demands. Ego-driven effort seeks control, scarcity, or personal gain. Soul-driven presence radiates abundance, peace, and possibility, creating outcomes that serve higher evolution. Each conscious breath becomes a declaration. I am aligned. I am coherent. I am ready to participate fully in the unfolding of life. Every pause, every gap, every inhalation and exhalation anchors you deeper into this living field. Over time, your presence becomes magnetic, attracting experiences, people, and opportunities that reflect the coherence you embody. The boundaries between your breath, your consciousness, and the universal field dissolve. You realize that you are not merely experiencing reality. You are the creative intelligence through which reality expresses itself. Now that you've stepped fully into the role of a conscious creator and living field of coherence, the question becomes, how do you maintain and amplify this state consistently, day after day? The answer lies in intentional daily rituals, small yet powerful practices that anchor your awareness, stabilize your energy field, and continuously align you with the flow of life. Begin with a morning session of conscious breathing. Don't rush. Instead, enter your inner temple, moving breath intentionally through each energy center. Feel the lungs expand, the heart open, and the abdomen pulse with life force. Rest in the quantum gap between breaths even for brief moments, allowing clarity, intention, and presence to crystallize before the day begins. Throughout your day, cultivate micro-practices of observation. Before responding to emails, conversations, or challenges, pause and take a coherent breath. Notice your mental and emotional state. Are you reactive or are you responding from alignment? Each pause strengthens neural pathways that favor coherence, gradually transforming your habitual patterns. Incorporate intentional movement, walking, stretching, or even standing still with awareness. Let your breath guide you, flowing with rhythm, presence, and alignment. The observer is always present, witnessing without judgment, keeping you centered, regardless of external chaos. Journaling or reflective practice is another powerful ritual. Write observations of your breath, emotional patterns, and insights from daily experiences. This bridges inner awareness with conscious action, consolidating lessons into embodied wisdom. Evening practice is equally important. As the day ends, return to your inner temple. Breathe consciously, revisit energy centers, and release residual tension, worry, or distraction. Observe the subtle shifts in your electromagnetic field and the sense of inner coherence that radiates outward. These rituals, consistently applied, amplify your influence over the collective field. HeartMath and emerging quantum studies show that coherent energy isn't confined to the individual, it ripples outward, subtly affecting people, environments, and systems. When you stabilize yourself daily, you naturally become a node of alignment, magnetizing opportunities, solutions, and synchronicities into your life. Integration also requires self-compassion. Progress is rarely linear. Occasional lapses into unconscious reactivity are inevitable. Notice them without judgment, breathe through them, and return to presence. This gentle recalibration is part of the mastery process. Finally, recognize that these practices are not obligations. They are invitations to live fully awake, to participate consciously in the creative unfolding of life, and to serve as a beacon for others. Each ritual, each conscious pause, each inhalation and exhalation is a step deeper into alignment. This is the culmination of the journey you've undertaken. Integrating conscious breathing, observer awareness, quantum gap mastery, advanced embodiment, and daily ritual into a fully coherent living practice. At this stage, your breath, presence, and awareness are no longer separate disciplines, they are inseparable expressions of your being. Every inhale and exhale is now a conscious act of creation, radiating coherence, stability, and intention into the field around you. You have become the observer, the architect, and the channel for life itself simultaneously. The inner temple you've built is fully operational, each energy center flowing freely, each chamber aligned with clarity, love, and creative power. Stillness is no longer passive. It is dynamic, alive, and magnetic. From this place, action arises effortlessly, perfectly timed and infinitely effective. You no longer force reality. Reality flows through you, responding naturally to your coherence. As your field stabilizes, synchronicities accelerate. People, opportunities, and circumstances begin to appear in harmony with your intentions. The world mirrors the alignment you maintain internally. Beyond personal transformation, your coherence begins to influence the collective field. Your energy radiates beyond immediate perception, contributing to social, environmental, and planetary coherence. Scientific research now validates what ancient wisdom has always known. Coherent consciousness produces measurable effects on surrounding fields, probability patterns, and even physical systems. You are now a living example of this principle, a note of coherence in a sea of potential. At this level, you live from soul manifestation rather than ego striving. Ego manifestation chases, struggles, and attempts to control. Soul manifestation flows, trusts, and aligns. Every thought, word, and action emerges from clarity, presence, and intention. Each breath you take reinforces this alignment, creating a stable anchor in the midst of life's flux. The ultimate realization emerges. You are not merely a human, navigating reality. You are the universe, expressing itself through a conscious form. Every inhalation is life entering through you. Every exhalation is life returned, radiating coherence, love, and possibility. This understanding dissolves fear, limitation, and struggle. You live as a continuous bridge between inner and outer reality, past and future, personal and collective consciousness. Life becomes effortless, inspired, and synchronistic, not because you control it, but because you embody alignment, allowing creation to flow through you naturally. This is the final integration, a fully coherent, conscious life where breath, awareness, and presence serve. Now that you understand the profound impact of conscious breathing, observer awareness, and the quantum gap, the next step is integration, bringing this understanding into every moment of your daily life. True mastery does not occur in isolated meditation sessions or fleeting experiences. It emerges when your breath, presence, and alignment flow seamlessly through ordinary activities. Start by observing your breathing patterns in real time, while walking, talking, eating, working, or even scrolling on your device. Notice shallow, rapid upper chest breathing, the unconscious pattern that maintains survival but blocks your creative potential. Gently shift attention to a deeper, rhythmic inhalation and exhalation, letting your abdomen and chest move in harmony. This is not forced. It is awareness flowing naturally into the body. The observer is present, quietly witnessing the mind, the body, and the world. Between breaths, rest in the quantum gap, that fleeting yet potent moment where intention crystallizes. These micro-practices, repeated across your day, compound into profound shifts in nervous system coherence, emotional regulation, and energetic stability. Over time, your inner field begins to stabilize, and the ripple effect expands outward, subtly influencing every interaction, every environment, and even the collective field. Intentional breath before a conversation or decision allows clarity to arise naturally, removing reactivity and replacing it with responsive wisdom. Each conscious pause becomes a recalibration, aligning you with your highest potential rather than old patterns. Integration also means using your inner temple intentionally. Your body, mind, and energy centers are sacred spaces storing memories, emotions, and ancestral patterns. By breathing with attention into these spaces, you not only release tension, but also reclaim the intelligence and wisdom stored there. The nervous system, DNA, and biofield respond to this coherent practice, creating lasting transformation from the cellular to the systemic level. Embodying sustained coherence is a lifestyle, not a task. Rituals such as morning breathwork, periodic pauses, and evening reflections anchor the frequency of presence, while spontaneous moments of attention during daily life strengthen it. You begin to notice reality mirroring your internal state. Opportunities emerge effortlessly, synchronicities multiply, relationships deepen, and challenges dissolve into lessons. Your energy becomes a field of magnetism, naturally attracting alignment without struggle. Ultimately, integration is the art of living fully awake. You are no longer a passive participant or reactive force. You are a conscious architect of reality, anchored in presence and harmony.